Welcome to session 3. It is just a pleasure to be here with you again. Session 3 is entitled Teach Deep, Not Wide. What does that mean? But first, the students we meet are gems in the raw as they wait to be polished by us. The timid or the bold, the coarse in the mold, shine as a teacher's love unfolds. My mantra. In this session, I will bring up something I have prepared in order to clarify and to make better the meaning of teaching deep, not wide. Here we go. Okay, wonderful. So let's go to the top. This is the beginning where it starts with the perimeter. Perimeter means distance around. Now, I am doing both the deductive and the inductive because it lends itself, both are better at explaining what I have to share today. So right now I'm telling the meaning of the word, and then we're going to explore the meaning in a little bit of an experiment. So we are using both deductive and inductive methods of teaching. They have their place. So perimeter, the peri means around, and the meter means measure. So we are literally measuring around. I have two shapes, a rectangle and a triangle, and you will notice that there are measures around the shapes. The rectangle has 4 measures, 12 centimeters on 2 opposite sides, and 15 centimeters on the other pair of opposite sides. The shape is like that, 2 parallel and opposite sides, so that there are 4 sides. So to find the perimeter of the rectangle, we must add the measures that go all the way around. Most students remember this, add the measures around, until we introduce area. It's a whole other story then. Let's take a look at the triangle. The triangle has 3 measures, 16 centimeters on 2 sides and 14 centimeters on the base. So that when we go around the triangle, we have to take into account one measure of 16, the other measure of 16, and the final measure of 14. So that's the picture. Notice that I have highlighted or deepened the coloring around to draw attention to that and soften the coloring inside. Now, concepts. This is where we are really going to have discussion and clarify any misconceptions. So when we run around the basketball court, we are doing perimeter. If we paint the baseboards, we're doing the perimeter. Draw a border around a picture. Put lights around the windows. These are all concepts of working the perimeter. Normally in class, I would have my students come up with other ideas. They can't pick anything that I have. They've got to conceptualize on their own. That allows me to see if they got the right idea. And we can have an argument. We can have students say, no, that's not it. Yes, I know, this is it. And that's allowed. It is not unusual in one of my classes to have noise and argument. That tells me they're engaged. They're deep into the lesson. They want to argue about it. Whoa, that's good. Now, sometimes we visit classes. I have visited classes where the teacher is saying, no talking. Oh my God. That can get me. How do you want children to learn without discussing what they're thinking? When you hear what they're thinking, you, the teacher, you, the parent, anybody else, their colleagues, their peers, they know whether they're on the right track or not on the right track. That's why they argue. They want to express themselves. We let them. This is a good assessment. A good teacher will take notes about the argument and the words they hear from the student. Now let's go to area. Area covers the space inside. I will not give a how-to on this because I want to get the idea of what it is. I won't give them the how-to. I want the how-to for perimeter to stay embedded in their minds. Let's leave that there. But we're going to have the concept talked about and discussed. So let's look at concept of area. Mow the lawn. Paint the baseball diamond. Color the triangle. Sweep the room. Mop the floor. We're covering the space inside a defined shape. The shape that is defined is the perimeter. The space that is inside the boundaries is the area. And so we go to a little question and answer session. Choose the idea that connotates area or perimeter. And we can talk about this. This is not a writing session. This is still a talking session. Students can raise their hand, answer, and then it's their turn to come up with some of their own ideas. My mom bought a picture frame for my class picture. Which is that? Is that area or perimeter? Frame, around, perimeter. The neighbor mowed his lawn yesterday. He went across and back and across, and he actually will cover every inch of that lawn. If you follow the lawnmower, you will see the marks that he made. In fact, the neighbor doesn't want to miss one blade of grass because he is going to cover the entire area. Mowing the lawn conveys the idea of area. When the neighbor puts the lawnmower down and goes out for the thing that, I don't even know the name of that thing, but it goes around the edges and you neaten up the edges. No, he is covering the perimeter. And if he has a nice defined rectangle in front of his house, ooh, that's easy. So mowing the lawn while the lawnmower is going over the grass and cutting it down, the concept of area is performed. When the lawnmower gets a rest, and the bushwhacker, I think that's what you call it, the bushwhacker goes around and trims the edges. That's when the perimeter is defined. Let's look at the next one. I had to wash the windows. Would you believe that? What a chore. Wash the windows. Laborious, tough for some. Anyway, it is performing area. Gives the idea of going across the space of the glass pane. The pane is defined by a border. Sometimes it's metal and sometimes it's wood, but the border would be the perimeter of the window pane. The pane is the area. That would be the discussion in class. So the next one allows the student to think about it and insert their best answer. Wrapping a gift is area or perimeter, but tying gift ribbon around it is. Wrapping the gift is the area. Tying the gift ribbon gives the idea of perimeter. Kind of like mowing the lawn and doing the edge. This is why it can be confused, one for the other. The basketball players do laps around the court. That is perimeter. But when they play, they cover the entire area of the court. So this would be the core of the discussion. And my homework assignment would be to go and come up with sentences that include both area and perimeter. You have to write the sentence. You have to complete the space in the way I did with D and E. Then they have to draw what they wrote. When they draw, they must shade and define with a colored pencil the border. So they will define the perimeter using their colored pencils or markers, whatever they have, and they will shade to show the area. Now, this lesson would take maybe about 2 days, but I won't do 2 days and stop. At the beginning of every day for a minimum of a week, I will come with these questions and pictures, and they have to constantly define and explain. And then I'm going to leave it. And now we're going to follow that up with finding perimeter of various shapes. And going back to the concept, why is perimeter the sum of all sides? So we're beginning to do a bit of formulas, and the sum of all sides, you don't have to get fancy, just add up all sides. But if we have something like a square or a baseball diamond with equal sides, we will discuss that finding 4 times 1 measure is the same as adding the measure of each side. So I'm teaching deep, not wide. To teach wide would be, this is the perimeter, go and do questions 1 to 10 on the perimeter. We're done. 2 days, area of rectangle, answer the questions, come back. We're done. Area of a triangle, answer the questions, come back. And then I give a test at the end of the week. And at the test, everybody's confused. Now my test, I wouldn't do a test yet. I would do a quiz. Some of my quizzes are very strange. This could be my quiz. I write 2 questions on various index cards. And I distribute the questions to row 1. You must answer your questions and turn in your paper. And you're going to take a seat and you're going to read your book. And then I'm going to give index cards to row 2. You're going to do your questions and turn in your paper and read your book, take a seat, and I'm going to rotate. I may have, say, 8 index cards that are different. No one knows who is getting which one. You can't copy. If you copy or try to tell your neighbor, you're going to run into problems, because when you're done, everybody doesn't work at the same time. We get 4 and 4, finish your 8. You got to read your book. We have always, we're reading. When we're done with our work, we read. Kids love that because there's always a book to read. They have to finish the reading. They didn't do the homework. This is the time when you catch up with your reading. In Miss Stevens' class, that's okay. And so by the end of my quiz, my assessment, I have already browsed those papers and I know who's got it and who hasn't. Okay. Next day I would come back, and it's not a big deal if you didn't get it. But those who got it, who scored perfectly, you are going to be singled out to convey to those who didn't your best idea of why you were so good at defining the concept and working on it. You get to be an expert in the classroom, and you share your knowledge with others. Now, if you want to keep your score, you can. If you don't, you get another shot at an organized quiz. Everyone takes the organized quiz, the old traditional sit in the seat, you get a paper, you answer the quiz, you turn it in. If your score on the second quiz was better than the first, you keep your better score. If it was worse, you keep the first score. Everybody gets a chance at doing well. And I thank you and look forward to your questions. Bye.